Welcome r/EntitledParents. Let them eat cake. Long ago, way back in the before time, I worked for one of those bulk warehouse club stores. My trade was simple. I was a wrangler of the silver buffalo and dutifully retrieved the old ghetto strollers I did. The job in and of itself wasn't the worst I'd ever had. I got plenty of exercise, got to be outside, and generally didn't have to interact with the members. Calling them customers was taboo, for the most part. The thing about this job is that the company I worked for had a reputation for being cheap. Thusly, more often than not, I was on my own out in the parking lot. Big whoop, you might say. You gathered carts? You should see how hard my job is. Yeah, well, shut up. This is my story, but munch. I digress. The reason that being alone sucked is that this store didn't have just one kind of cart. Hell, they didn't even just have two kinds of carts. You had your classic garden variety cart, the kiddie cart with the plastic facade to make it resemble a car, the electric scooters, which weren't supposed to leave the store, but did so with alarming frequency, and finally, the bulky hard to control flats. On top of that, whenever someone needed help loading their haul into their minivans, I was the guy they called. You know, because the greeters, cashiers, and managers were all busy. As you might expect, one man cannot be in multiple places at once, and as a result, on some of our busier days it became incredibly difficult to keep enough carts in the vestibule. Our story begins on one of these days. So there I was, chugging along like a good worker drone, struggling to keep up with the sheer volume of people coming in to buy cheap bulk goods. Sure enough, I get a call on the radio. Manager, SKTCHH. Top_gorilla 17. We need you to help some members load their purchases. SKTCHH. Me. I'd love to, but I'm barely able to keep up out here as is. Manager. SKTCHH. Just do it. Top_gorilla 17. You can afford to stop gathering carts for 2 minutes. SKTCHH. Ron Howard. He couldn't. I didn't want to push my luck, so I complied. After spending 20 minutes loading people's purchases, because when one person needs it, suddenly they all need it, I came back to find my vestibule a near ghost town, save for a single line of carts that was half gone, and the Karen. I won't waste time describing this specimen. She was the prototype. You know what she looked like. There she stood, menacing, tapping her foot with such speed that could make any metal drummer green with envy. You could collect the contempt in her gaze in a jar. Karen, where are the big flat ones? I blanked for a moment. Me, I'm sorry. Karen, ugh, Mexicans. For the record, I'm very much white. Karen, where are the flat ones? Me, oh, you mean the flats? I'm sorry, I was just helping some other members load their merchandise and hadn't had a chance to. Karen, oh my god, I don't care about your excuses. You have one job, and a trained monkey could do it. I just want this lady out of my face, so I don't fight it. Me, sorry ma'am. I'll grab one from the parking lot for you. Karen, you'd better. So I go back out to the lot and find a whole line of flatbeds sticking out of a Corolla blocking several parking spaces. I push them all into the vestibule where she waits, huffing about how I'm wasting her valuable time. I separate one from the rest and bring it to her. Me, I'm terribly sorry about the wait, ma'am. She leers at me with utter malice. Karen, HMMPH. Unbelievable. And with that, she dismisses herself into the store, where she will be someone else's problem. I shake my head and return to doing what I'm paid to do. About 15 minutes later, I'm returning a line of carts when I see her pushing her flatbed to her martyr and jawing about stupid people, most certainly referring to me, on her cell phone. You know what she had bought? What she had insisted on having a flatbed for? A cake. This wasn't even like a big cake. It was one of those little circular numbers, like this. Anyways, I witness as she continues to yammer on about how I nearly ruined I tell you her precious baby's birthday party when the most glorious thing happened. Still clutching her phone with those JLA scoop claws of hers, she attempts to pick up the cake with one hand, the plastic topper pops off, and she spills the cake all over her undoubtedly expensive designer outfit. Seething with white hot rage, she locks eyes with me. Karen, you. Get me another cake. Now. Me. Terribly sorry ma'am. I've got one job, and these cards won't gather themselves. I walked away, shit-eating grin plastered on my face as her shrieks faded into the distance behind me. I've had my share of nasty customer interactions before, but this one. I find it so strange that collecting the cards and putting them back is a whole job in Ireland and the UK, and I think a lot, if not all of Europe, you have to put a coin in to get the cart, and you put the cart back yourself to get the coin back. I don't think it's even about the money, we are just all in the habit to bring them back anyway. Regardless, it's ridiculous that any adult would be that entitled and wouldn't just go get it themselves, and it's awful you have to put up with someone treating you so disrespectfully, like you're not a person too. The end was perfect karma for that bitch. Dude, I remember one time like 2 other people were supposed to come in, and it was pouring out, and they didn't show up, and I had to go on dinner break, so I call in and get someone from maintenance out to the parking lot to clean up carts, right? I go have my required hour break and then come back to the lot to find all the carolls full, the cart bays empty, and the maintenance person had been on lunch for 45 minutes. Took me 4 hours to empty them all out before I had to close up in the rain. Thankless work. I used to be a cart pusher too, and let me tell you, that job can be a real bitch. It's very frustrating and mentally draining. Not only do you have to navigate carts and such through a parking lot, but you have to be aware and watch out for stupid/asshole drivers. One's not paying attention while pulling out of a spot and one's trying to speed past you down a lane because they don't want to get stuck behind you. The only thing I miss about that job is working with my friends. Kudos to you my dude for doing this job. I've been living in the US for a little while now, and I'm not used to see shopping carts spread out on parking lots. It's a disaster. Whenever I see someone leave their shit ass cart next to their car because they're too lazy to bring it back, I have a massive urge to yell at them like a damn Karen. How is it too hard to bring back a cart to the destined place? It works well in Germany and Poland and other European countries, so YTF not in the US? Jesus F Christ Mayo. Also this ep reminds me so much of one of my employers. I was able to imagine her in this scenario, and it says a lot about her lol. I gathered carts and bagged at a local grocery store in high school. One night I found a pack of pork chops in a cart in the lot no more than 15 feet from the corral. Took them inside where the lady working the front desk just got off the phone with the woman bitching about how the dumbass bag boy, me, forgot to bag her pork chops. Moral of the story: put your carts away people. Bro, I read this entire story and enjoyed it. Please get into writing, because it just flows from you. I usually scroll down as I read, so that the line I'm currently reading is at the bottom of the page, so I didn't see the epic punk line coming until it happened. Well done, B. Great story as well. Get you some. Holy shit. This is one of the best things I've ever read on Reddit. Ever. Whatever you're doing with your life, quit immediately and start submitting stories, reviews, opinion editorials, whatever you have written to whomever strikes your fancy. It won't take long until you're known for your writing. Damn, it's like we worked at the same store. XD store standards at Walmart is pretty much the same. Never enough people, always expecting way too much for too little people. Even got in trouble when a manager told me to clean the garbage room, then later forgot and was mad why I was not pushing carts. 10/10ths well written, hot damn. A+ use of CSI reference. And as a fellow wrangler of the Silver Buffalo, I can deeply sympathize with you. One of the only times I enjoyed that job was when my managers and I raced those electric scooters that go about 2 miles per hour around the store after close. Oh, this reminds me of one of my favorite stories. My junior year of high school, I had a summer job at a feed store. I'm a white guy, but with a tan complexion due to a mix of the Cajun and Native American. The other 3 workers in the warehouse with me happened to be Mexican. One day, a woman walked up, super polite, not a Karen, and said, in a very American way, "Hola por favor, I need dos fence posts." I was more amused than anything, and responded, 6 feet or 8? She realizes the errors that's been made, and quietly tells me 6 feet. I've always dabbled in it. A friend and I once got stoned and compiled a list of undesirable traits into a poorly edited book called Are You One of Those People? Once, but it's pretty cringe because it's completely unformatted from the Notepad document he compiled all of our entries on. Other than that, I mostly just come up with bits for this cartoon about stoner ferrets I've been kicking around. You have quite the gift for yarn spinning, let me tell you. I was enthralled with the entire story start to finish, haha. Thank you. I'm honestly shocked the response has been so positive. Whenever I tell this story in person, everyone's just kinda like, hey,